My name's Sarah, and if you'd told me a few years ago that my life would turn into a psychological thriller, I'd have laughed in your face. I was just a regular girl from a small Ohio town, raised in a double-wide trailer with a mom who worked night shifts at a diner and a dad who fixed cars when he wasn't drinking. We weren't poor, but we were close, counting quarters for gas, splitting cans of soup for dinner, wearing hand-me-downs from cousins. Birthdays were a dollar store card and a homemade cake, if we were lucky. Mom always said, "Sarah, you're tougher than the world thinks. Don't let anyone make you small." I clung to those words, even when life felt like it was trying to shrink me. By 25, I was in Chicago, clawing my way through a graphic design program at a community college while working part-time at a coffee shop. Rent was brutal, so I needed a roommate. That's when I met Chloe. She answered my Craigslist ad, all bright smiles and bubbly energy, with a leather jacket that looked too expensive for our dingy apartment. She said she was a freelance photographer, always chasing gigs, and I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She paid her half of the rent on time, cracked jokes over cheap wine, and made our tiny, roach-infested place feel like home. We'd stay up late, talking about dreams, mine to design album covers, hers to travel the world, snapping photos for magazines. I thought we were friends. Then things got weird. It started small. I'd notice my mail opened before I got to it, bills, bank statements, even a birthday card from my mom. Chloe would shrug, say the postman mixed things up. Then my laptop started acting funny, passwords changed, files moved. I'd find her using it, claiming she just needed to borrow it for a client pitch. I let it slide. I didn't want to be that roommate. But deep down, something felt off, like a splinter you can't quite dig out. One day, I got a call from my bank. Someone had tried to open a credit card in my name. The account was frozen, but the damage was done, my credit score tanked. I confronted Chloe, half expecting her to laugh it off. Instead, she got defensive, saying I was paranoid. "Sarah, chill. It's probably just a mix-up." But her eyes didn't meet mine, and that splinter turned into a knife. That's when I realized Chloe wasn't just my roommate. She was stealing my life. The truth hit me like a freight train one freezing February night. I'd come home early from a shift, my hands still smelling of espresso, to find Chloe gone. Her camera gear was on the table, but her laptop was open, glowing in the dark. I don't know why I looked, call it instinct, but I did. Her screen showed an email inbox, and the name on it wasn't hers. It was mine. Sarah Marie Thompson. My full name, my email address, but it wasn't my account. I clicked, heart pounding. Emails from modeling agencies, gig bookings, even a PayPal confirmation for a $2,000 photography shoot, all in my name. There were selfies of Chloe, posing in designer clothes I'd never seen, captioned with my name on Instagram accounts I didn't own. She'd built a whole persona, my persona, as a glamorous photographer, racking up followers, clients, and cash. She'd used my social security number, my bank details, even my high school yearbook photo to create a fake ID that let her slide into my identity like a second skin. I scrolled further and found worse. She'd applied for loans in my name, rented a studio apartment under my identity, and even booked a trip to Paris for a photo shoot using my credit. My stomach churned as I pieced it together. Chloe wasn't just borrowing my stuff. She was living her dream life as me, while I was stuck serving lattes and dodging debt collectors. I sat there, frozen, until she walked in at 2 a.m., reeking of perfume and wine. "Sarah, what the hell?" she snapped, seeing me at her laptop. I didn't yell. I just pointed at the screen and said, "Explain this." Her face went white, then red. She stammered, something about helping me build a portfolio, about how I wasn't using my potential. It was nonsense, and we both knew it. When I pressed, she grabbed her bag and bolted, leaving me with a laptop full of lies and a life I didn't recognize. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking of my mom, working double shifts so I could have a shot at something better. And now Chloe was stealing that shot, piece by piece. I wanted to scream, to call the cops, to burn her world down. But I remembered Mom's words, "Don't let anyone make you small." If Chloe thought she could erase me, she was about to learn how wrong she was. The next few weeks were a blur of rage and grief. I felt violated, like someone had cracked open my life and rummaged through it. Every time I checked my bank account or got a call from a debt collector, it was like Chloe was there, laughing. I stopped trusting people. I'd flinch when my phone buzzed, expecting another bill I couldn't pay. At night, I'd lie awake, replaying every moment with her, every laugh, every late-night chat, wondering how I'd missed the signs. But anger is a great teacher. It taught me focus. I wasn't going to let Chloe walk away with my identity and my future. I needed a plan, and I needed it to be airtight. No impulsive outbursts, no sloppy accusations. I wanted her to face consequences she couldn't charm her way out of. First, I locked down my life. I froze my credit, changed every password, and got a new bank account. I called my college advisor, Emma, who'd always been in my corner, and told her everything. She connected me with a legal aid clinic that specialized in identity theft. The lawyer, Ms. Carter, was no nonsense, with a voice like gravel. "Document everything," she said. "Every email, every charge, every fake profile. Build a case that's bulletproof." So I did. I spent hours screenshotting Chloe's fake accounts, saving emails, and digging through my own financial records. I found a paper trail, loan applications, credit card charges, even a lease agreement for that studio apartment. I bought a cheap USB drive and backed everything up, keeping copies in a locked drawer. Emma helped me track down Chloe's real identity. She'd used her own name on a few early gigs before switching to mine. Her real name was Clara Hoffman, and she had a history of small-time scams in 2 other states. I also reached out to Jake, a tech-savvy friend from college who knew how to trace digital footprints. He showed me how to check metadata on Chloe's photos, revealing locations and dates that matched her fake gigs. We built a timeline, cold and precise, like a detective's case file. Every piece of evidence felt like a brick in a wall I was building to trap her. But planning revenge wasn't just about evidence. It was about strategy. I wanted Chloe to lose the life she'd stolen, but I also wanted to protect myself. Ms. Carter warned me that identity theft cases could drag on, and Chloe might try to flip the narrative, paint me as the jealous one. So I set rules: stay legal, stay documented, stay quiet until the moment was right. I wasn't going to confront her in a screaming match. I was going to dismantle her dream life in front of the people who'd bought into it. I started imagining the moment I'd expose her, not just to the police, but to the clients, the agencies, the followers who thought Sarah Thompson was a rising star. I practiced what I'd say, how I'd stand, how I'd keep my voice steady. I wanted her to feel what I felt: exposed, powerless, betrayed. But I also wanted to walk away whole, with my name and my future intact. The hardest part was the waiting. Every day, I'd see her post on my Instagram, living a life I'd never touched. It was like watching a stranger wear my skin. But every screenshot, every saved email, every late-night call with Jake or Ms. Carter brought me closer to turning her world upside down. When the time came to act, I didn't rush. Revenge isn't a sprint, it's a chess game. I wanted Chloe's fake life to collapse under the weight of truth, not gossip. Ms. Carter filed a formal complaint with the police for identity theft, backed by my stack of evidence, screenshots, bank records, metadata, everything. But legal action was only part of it. I wanted her clients, her followers, her entire facade to crumble, and that meant going public in a way she couldn't dodge. I started with a private move. Ms. Carter suggested I contact Chloe directly, give her a chance to come clean before escalating. It shows you're reasonable, she said. So I sent Chloe an email, calm and cold, I know you've been using my identity. I have proof, emails, charges, profiles. Stop now, return what you've taken, and I won't go public. You have 48 hours. I attached a single screenshot, her fake Instagram with my name, timestamped. She didn't respond. Instead, she posted another photo, captioned "Living my best life as Sarah Thompson." That was her mistake. She'd chosen defiance over surrender, and I was ready. Jake helped me craft a public post. We created a new Instagram account under my real name, verified with my ID, and I posted a thread, "This is the real Sarah Thompson." For months, my roommate Clara Hoffman has stolen my identity, opened accounts in my name, and lived a life that isn't hers. Here's the proof. I uploaded redacted screenshots, bank charges, emails, the fake ID she'd made. I tagged her clients, the modeling agencies, even the Paris photography gigs organizer. I ended with, "I'm taking my life back. Don't let her fool you." The post went viral. Her followers, thousands of them, started commenting, shocked. Clients messaged me, asking for verification. One agency dropped her within hours, citing contractual misrepresentation. The Paris gig was cancelled. Chloe tried to delete her fake accounts, but Jake had already archived everything. The internet doesn't forget, especially when you've got screenshots. Then came the social pressure. I reached out to a local journalist, Mia, who covered fraud cases. I gave her the evidence, keeping it factual, dates, charges, proof of Chloe's real identity. Her article, "Local Woman Accused of Stealing Roommate's Identity for Glamorous Persona," hit online the next day. It wasn't tabloid trash, it was measured, with quotes from Ms. Carter and a police spokesperson. Chloe's name, Clara Hoffman, was everywhere. Her photography career started to implode as clients pulled out, one by one. The legal side moved faster than I expected. The police tracked Chloe down at the studio apartment she'd rented in my name. They found documents, fake IDs, forged signatures that matched my evidence. She was arrested for identity theft and fraud. In court, she tried to spin a story about helping me, but the judge wasn't buying it. My timeline, backed by Jake's metadata and Ms. Carter's filings, was ironclad. Chloe was ordered to pay restitution and faced a year of probation. The apartment lease was voided, and my credit was slowly restored. But the real revenge wasn't the courtroom. It was watching her dream life, the one she built on my name, disappear. Her Instagram followers dropped to nothing. Her clients blacklisted her. Even her old friends, the ones who'd partied with Sarah Thompson, ghosted her when the truth came out. I didn't gloat publicly, but every time a client emailed me to apologize or a follower DM'd to say they admired my strength, it felt like a small, sharp victory. There were surprises, too. One of Chloe's former clients, a small music label, reached out. They'd seen my real graphic design work in my portfolio, which Jake had helped me rebuild. They offered me a freelance gig designing an album cover, my dream job. It wasn't huge money, but it was mine, earned under my own name. That felt better than any courtroom win. When the dust settled, I felt lighter but not untouched. The apartment I'd shared with Chloe was too full of ghosts, so I moved to a new place, a tiny studio with a view of the Chicago skyline. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. I'd sit by the window with my sketch pad, designing logos and album covers, building a life that felt real. The restitution from Chloe helped clear my debts, and the freelance gig with the music label turned into more work. Slowly, I was becoming the person I'd always wanted to be. Chloe's life, from what I heard, didn't recover so easily. Her probation kept her tethered to a low-profile job, far from the glamorous world she chased. Her name, Clara Hoffman, was now tied to fraud in every Google search. I didn't follow her closely, I didn't need to. The consequences of her choices were doing the work for me. There were costs for me, too. Trust doesn't come easy anymore. I double-check locks, shred mail, and keep my laptop password protected. Friends who didn't know the full story sometimes looked at me like I was the girl who got revenge. But the ones who mattered, Emma, Jake, my mom, stood by me. Mom flew in from Ohio when the case closed, cooked me her famous spaghetti, and said, "You didn't just take your name back. You made it mean something." The biggest lesson wasn't about revenge. It was about owning my story. Chloe tried to steal my identity because she thought I was small, forgettable, someone who wouldn't fight back. But I did. I learned that evidence is power, that patience beats rage, and that your name is only as strong as the work you put into protecting it. I also learned that betrayal doesn't define you, it's what you do next that does. Now, I'm building a career, one design at a time. I mentor a few kids at the community college, teaching them how to spot scams and protect their dreams. I started a small fund with some of the restitution money, helping students like me afford art supplies. Every time I get a thank you note from one of them, it's like a piece of my old self. The girl who split soup with her mom gets to smile again. If I could tell that girl one thing, it'd be this: you're enough. You don't need to be someone else to shine. And when someone tries to steal your light, you have the power to take it back and make it brighter. My story isn't about Chloe's fall. It's about my rise. And I'm just getting started.